Hello everyone and welcome back to Jimmy Talks Jira. This week we're going to do something a little bit different, but I think you're still really going to enjoy it. Back in December I was issued a challenge, and while it's taken me a bit of time to get around to doing it, I hadn't forgotten, and that's the important piece. If you know Brittany Joiner, you will know that she is a wonderful human and an amazing Trello expert, and she challenged me to do a Jira version of one of her videos from the Trello holiday calendar. In order to accomplish this, what I thought we'd do today is we're going to watch her video, and I will pause it at various points through that time to show you how we would take those pieces and accomplish them within Jira. Without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so before we get started, right off the bat, I will have a link in the description to both this video in particular, as well as Brittany's channel. Go subscribe to the channel, go watch and like this video. She's a wonderful person who does amazing work in Trello, and you won't want to miss some of the other things that she's doing on a regular basis. So the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to play this video. We will be pausing it at certain points, and I will be flipping over to Jira to show you some of the things about how we might accomplish the same types of things within Jira. We'll come back to the video, and we'll keep doing that until the video's over. Okay, so let's get started.
Trello, ho, ho, ho! How's it going, everybody? Have I gone too far? I might have gone too far, but I am working with Santa this year, wearing his garb. He's lent it to me for the day, and we're gonna, try this out, do a video talking through the Trello holiday calendar, which hopefully you've seen if you've been around in the community, but we're gonna kick it off. I'm just gonna spend a few minutes here going.
And actually, if you did miss out on the Trello holiday calendar, it's still on the community as much as you can't earn any of the badges or anything related to it. The information's still there, and it's totally worth going to check out if you are new to Trello. There's a ton of great information on everything you need to get started.
Through some of the posts, and you could think of me as like your color sports commentator for this Trello holiday calendar. So without further ado, let's get right into it, shall we? So if you're not aware of what the Trello holiday calendar is, this is a great place to get started here. So first of all, we've got this we've got this whole calendar. All right, so basically every day from December 1st to the 25th, there's going to be a new post in the Trello community, here in the Atlassian community, but in the Trello section, where we'll be going through some different fun facts about Trello, things you can do, tips, and it's a little bite-sized content. So don't feel like you're going to have to sit down and go through an entire course. This is just the getting started stuff here, and really, really bite-sized. So every day there's a new post. To participate, just check back here. I'll post a link somewhere here for you to come see where this is all at. But to make it even more exciting, you'll also get 300 kudos and a special community badge if you like 15 or more of these daily posts. And don't worry, I know you can't, you may not be able to check in every day, but check in as often as you can. And look at this. Who doesn't want this cute little taco
100% agree with her there.
Badges. So also, if you want some extra special bonus content, like this video you're here watching, I'm going to put it over here on my Trello Substack. So each day I'm going to basically make a post and say, hey, go check out the community and add any, quick summary or color commentary that I've got on it. But
I'll add a link to that as well, just so that you can follow that too.
Where you can watch me kind of go through all of these and deep dive into, what's happening and maybe demo some pieces. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. I'll also post a link to that. And here we go for day one. We went through best Trello templates. So I'll go ahead and I actually wrote this post. So I'll go ahead and open up these links and kick off the party for you here. So this is the first one. It's a daily habits goal tracker, and I built this a while back. It was definitely like it's a board that I iterate on a little bit each year, but I use a board like this pretty much every single day. So you can see how it's kind of built out here. This is like a little README where I keep like important things like dates coming up if I want. I've kind of iterated what I keep over here, but it can think of it as like a table of contents for your board. Um, this is the backlog of all the different things that I want to accomplish over the year, and each week I have a weekly review process where I'll drag specific things over into here, and as I'm working on them, I drag them into doing, and once they're done, I move them over to done. Super easy, super simple. You know what? Free bonus tip for you over here. Just realized I built this board, and I didn't have this little confetti thing over and done. If you don't know what that does, check this out. Woo! Little blast of confetti. So make sure to add that little emoji to your completed list, and it does some really fun stuff. So yeah, and I also I think I initially started with Butler, or sorry, with the card repeater power up, but now I actually use Butler to make a card for every day that has different habits I want to do, and you can use custom fields if you want to sort of log it like a journal or anything like that. So I even have a whole blog post walking through how this works, but I just kind of gave you the summary right there.
Okay, let's stop it here. There's a lot to digest in that one, so let's take a look. Before I get right into it, let's start with project templates. Brittany mentioned templates, and she's going to continue mentioning them as a part of this first post that's on the community there. There was a point in time where Jira was very limited in, only the product-based ones. Jira Software, Jira Service Management, Jira Work Management which was Jira Core at the time. You had some very simplistic things you could do. Now there's a lot more based on the type of work you're doing. So, if you look at marketing, we've got things like an email campaign and go to market. All this is doing is just setting up some certain things from the start. The same with HR. There are things like recruitment and new employee onboarding. I specifically was looking at the personal, where one of the things that we have is task tracking or the personal task planner. So I started this first one as a personal task planner, and there are some good and some bad things about this one. So right off the bat, we're limited to just 3 columns on this board, which kind of doesn't map to what Brittany was talking about. If you were to use sort of a generic Jira software Kanban board, you could very easily add more columns to more map to what she has there. But this board itself does give you the visibility to do things like a calendar view or even a timeline view, so you could see the tasks you have in a different form than just a sort of 3-column board layout. So that is something you can do. In addition to that, Brittany mentioned the fact that she's using Butler automation. Well, we can do the same sort of thing here, where we can create a new Jira automation rule. We can make it as a scheduled rule that runs once every week on a Monday and creates, not Sunday too, but just on Mondays, and creates the cards, much like she said. I know that there are fields that we can add into the cards as well, and we can pre-populate those, so we can accomplish that as well. The other thing that Brittany mentioned as sort of a not intended as a part of that, but as an option, I'm just going to show I did find something. It's not baked into Jira to do the confetti, but there is a Chrome extension. So if you want the little confetti burst when you move an issue to done, there are ways that you can accomplish that even in Jira. Okay, let's go back and take a look more at the video.
And so yeah, it's pretty cool. I really use a board like this every day. That's actually this board linked over here. You see it in my my pin things over there. That board is up like 24/7. So here's another good one that I really like. So this is probably your go-to if you're using Trello. You're probably using a similar sort of format, and my other board used a similar one where we've got the backlog, which again, this is all the things you possibly could do, and then these are the stages a task will go through. So you might start with it, move it over to do, add some comments as you're working on it or whatever, and then drag it through the process, and eventually makes its way over to done. So this is probably the simplest way to get started, the cleanest sort of use case, super easy to just say, all right, here we are, here's high overview of all the things I'm working on, what stage they're in, and then being able to zoom in and, add comments, assign members and due dates and all those pieces. So Kanban board, pretty.
Okay, this is our bread and butter. So we don't even really need to do much as I have created this project here just to show you. Yes, we can absolutely add all the columns. This is what Jira was designed for. Doing Kanban boards and sprint boards is bread and butter. It's been there for ages. Go to Jira software, pick a Kanban, and just get started. There's not much more I need to say because this is what you were designed to, this is what it was designed to do. So this is an easy way to just get up and running, much like Brittany said for Trello.
High level, normal use case there. Then I also like this work request and intake process. So let's head over to this one as well. So what I like about this one is if you're working with anybody who asks you to do things, whether that's at work or maybe even in your personal life, like you could use this for a lot of things. I'm not going to say make your kids like ask you for things on Trello, but like you very easily could like organize any sort of like intake process of things in your personal life. For instance, like if you have maybe you've got some like clients or projects you work on the side, you can have people shoot things through there. If you're an expert in something and you want to be able to answer people's questions and have a simple way of being able to filter through that, you can do set that up over here. So basically the way this works is and I mean, I'm using this specific template, but the concept can, be customized and used however you want. But the way I kind of personally use it is, I know they're using Google Forms and Zapier, but there's actually another power up that you can use now that I would recommend. It's called Forms, and it's by Blue Cat Reports. There's actually going to be an advent calendar post about it coming up later this month, I believe. So I will definitely, not steal any thunder on that, but suffice to say, there's a power up that you can add that will bring up let you create a form, and whatever is filled out in that will map out to these, which is exactly what you're looking for here. Whether you want to use Google Form or type form or whatever, there's a bunch of different forms you can use. Or if everybody's in Trello, you can have them just create a new card. But the way it'll work is, someone will make a request and then it'll populate a card here. And then from there, you just kind of drag it through your standard sort of Kanban boards like you've seen before. But it's a really, really nice way to be able to, sort of triage those and let other people get into it. And like, I'm actually going to take you to my How I Trello board here so you can see a little bit more of a live example. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and steal the thunder and spoil the forms for Trello, how that works. So basically, so this is a board. It's an intake process, right? I have a blog where I write about Trello, and I keep track of ideas on here. People can submit ideas. If you're subscribed to the blog, you're welcome to say, hey, Brittany, I would love for you to write about how to do this with Trello, or I've had this burning question, or, all these different things. So if you want to do that, you just head over to this link, and it
I may have to
populates
set up
this
something like this
nice
myself.
little form. And this is part of the Trello power up, right? So this is part of the forms for Trello power up. So one line, what's the topic about? I want Brittany to write about how Santa might use Trello. And then, you can describe in a little more detail, like how does he keep track of his list? And check it twice. Oh, can't spell.
Very
okay.
on point for
And then, if
the
you
theme
want
of
to
this one.
include any like follow-up questions or anything like that, you can put it there. Then just hit submit. And then what that does is over here, it will create a new card. So should see it, pops right up here at the top. And you can see it's all linked up in here. So very easily see, how Santa, there's the title mapped out there and all the fields are mapped in here. If I had custom fields, I could have mapped these answers to specific custom fields, but I don't have that. So didn't end up going into that. But yeah, and so let's say I want to write about that. I just drag that over here. When I publish it, I push it there, and yeah, you can see different sort of ideas going on in here. So yeah, so that's a cool sort of intake process. I've used this similar sort of process before when I was like managing ads. at Elastic, and so internal people could make a request and say, here's the things I want to add, and then I would be able to keep track of what was live, what was, I was getting help on, who was doing what, and it was a great way to keep track of all that. So,
Okay, so we're going to pause it here. I had a different spin on this one. So we're going to take a look at this from the way that I sort of took that whole intake process. So, where do I want to start with this? I actually created a service desk project for this. So the idea would be that we have multiple queues. So this will give us the ability to intake things from the portal, which we can make a public portal so that people can, without needing a license, go there to make our requests. And then instead of having columns on a board, what we would end up with is queues that we manage the flow of items in that manner. And this, I went to this sort of thing because of the fact that Brittany decided to pull out forms. So if you are not familiar with the recent addition to service desks with the forms that are powered by Proforma, there is now the idea that I can create an intake form, and then from the settings, I can choose what request types on the portal that is going to apply to, and then also how that's going to operate, whether I want it to just be something that's there that an agent can issue to a customer at any point, or if that's going to be the initial view that they see so that they can create a new request from that form. And then if you look at the way that I have built this, this what should I write about is linked to our summary field, and this please provide additional details is linked to the description, so that on the back end side of things, as the agent in the item that is created, which would be linked to, would be comparable to a card, I will see the things that the user has filled out in the form now on the ticket that has been logged as an issue in my service desk project. And then as the agent, I can assign that to myself. I can move that into the various states and follow the workflow of a service desk ticket to manage that intake process, much like Brittany had pointed out in the cards. Now, in addition to that, you could actually go back to the daily habits board. This also has forms, so you can do a very similar thing there by creating forms from a work management project and follow it that way if you want more of that board view for managing your work. Personally, for my work, my actual job, I actually use a service desk project, so that would be more my comfort level of where I would be doing things.
I really want to try to keep these under 10 minutes just so they're not too meaty. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here, but feel free to ping me if you have any other questions, and I'll post a link to this. If there's something, you want me to write about on my blog and people enjoy this sort of Q&A format, I might start doing more of these. I lied. I actually am not going to cut it short because I realized I just went through one. So I might have to rethink my timing on these. We'll see how helpful it is, but I'll try to be a little faster going through these other ones here.
So I know that this is longer than my normal videos, but we're going to stick it out on this one. That was just day one.
So you can see we've got a whole jam-packed situation going on here. So now looking at day 2, celebrating your team's year with the free Trello annual report. This is a totally free power-up. I played around with this, and you can actually see, let me show you some of my specific stats on my blog. But it's kind of like, think Spotify Wrapped meets Trello, which is really the coolest thing. So you really just add this to your board. Super simple. You just, add the power-up. It'll ask you a couple questions, like which list holds your cards that are in progress, and which one holds your ones that are done. And then it spits out some graphics like this. Your team completed, how many cards this year. And you can use this on different boards. I use this on my Make It Happen, which is my, sort of daily habits and goals tracking board that I use throughout the year. So you can see my stats on this. Some things I complete almost instantly. I fully credit Trello with being able to, really help me crank through it. My most productive month was June. So that's really interesting. And my quietest month was January. So I think that was, we'll just blame, that was a slow start to the year, but I really seemed to make up for it and kind of really got excited, and it looks like in September when I was, you know, creating all sorts of things going on. So I think this is really fun. I honestly,
Okay, so let's just start with this is basic reporting. Unfortunately, we do not have any of the amazing cat animations there, and I don't have any data here to really show you the what, but let's just talk about reports. Um, there is a slew of reports for the various types of things that you want to cover, whether it's the average age of your issues, your created versus resolved, your pie charts, your time to resolution, uh, you know, pretty much anything you want to cover, we can do in some fashion. And, the same, let's go over to our service desk project because I know that we have some reporting here as well. But this is basically Jira project reporting. I know that things aren't necessarily the greatest when it comes to out of the box reporting for Jira, but there's definitely things available for you. So it's one of those things where you're going to have to just sort of experiment with what you want to see and try and figure out, a combination of between the reporting that's available in projects or just doing querying for issues and gadgets on a dashboard. I'd say those are sort of your two big ways to accomplish something similar to the Trello annual report. Obviously, it's more work than just adding a power up, but there's definitely ways to accomplish the same types of things.
it's a good way to kind of see some data, but at the same time, it's just also kind of fun to see what you accomplished in Trello. So, um, love that. Definitely check that out. And feel free. I would love to see. Feel free to go over here and post your screenshots. Would love to see like your stats too. So come over there to the post and drop that in. And then for today's post, day number 3, this is from Fabian. This is 3 tips on your first day with Trello. So you may not be a Trello newbie, but you may work with some Trello newbies. And if you do, this is an excellent post and some good tips for working with them. Short and sweet, bite-sized content here. Use templates. Just, go over here and
Okay, so templates. Let's get one thing straight. Users in a Jira project are probably going to have an administrator, for most part, create projects for them. If your company's using team managed projects where individuals will be creating their own projects, it might not be on a personal level that you are creating a project, but that is a possibility of what might happen. We already covered it here with the templates, but some of the things like these personal ones are probably where you're more likely to be if you're going to be creating your own. But again, there are some limits to what's available within Jira as far as creating projects or project templates go.
you'll see a whole library of Trello templates. If you've never checked this out before, this is like amazing. I can literally spend days playing around in here and looking at all the different types of Trello templates that there are, and all the different things you can do with it. It's really inspiring, which is funny because this used to be called the inspiration section. So check that out. You also, just watch the beginning part of this where I went through a couple templates. So, feel free to use that. Don't feel like you need to create everything from scratch. I like to think of Trello as Legos, and you can build literally anything you want with it. But there's a lot of people who have built blueprints on how to build a Death Star, so you don't have to start from scratch with it. So, my beard is itching my nose. Okay, I'm good. Okay, next, look up and try out things, get help. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Trello, when you're new to it, it can be a little overwhelming. Um, I think it's personally a great platform to start out with because there's not too much baked in all at once, but you can kind of ease your way into it. But if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, just, click things, give it a try, but also head over here to the community and ask questions that people.
I 100% agree with that. So I just want to point this out. The online community is one of the best resources for finding other people who can help you with answering questions. For Jira specifically, there is a group. So if you come under these groups and go to Explore All Groups, you will find one that is called New to Jira. If you are new to Jira, absolutely dive in here. The people that are in here, there are some veterans, there are group leaders who know a lot about Jira, and everyone who is experienced is more than happy to help you. You are not going to be ridiculed for having basic or noob style questions. People encourage you to ask questions because that's the only way that you're going to learn. The other thing you can do, just as I'm thinking about this, going to the university.atlassian.com. There are some great things here. So if we go to topics and we go to courses by product, I'm going to specifically call it Jira Software just because it's sort of the easier of the, the more common than Jira Service Desk is what people might be looking for. And this is not what I want. We want to go to the free training because I want to point out Jira Fundamentals. If you are brand new to Jira, this course is free. It is by far your best way to get into learning about Jira. I highly recommend it. It comes with a little quiz at the end, which has a nice little badge that you can share on social media saying, yay, I passed Jira Fundamentals. There is also now one for Jira Service Management. And then there are some other free courses like Getting Started with Jira, which is that next stepping stone beyond the fundamentals. So there's tons of good training here on Jira. These are sort of your best two spots to get started when you're new to Jira.
People like me will happily answer for you. And then lastly, archiving a card doesn't mean it's gone forever. That's a really pro tip. Like if you're like, oh, I lost a card, check over in your archive cards. It's probably over there. It's actually really hard to delete a card on Trello or delete a board or anything because kind of the default action is to close a board or archive a card. And then you have to take another step after that to actually delete it. So
okay, so on the Jira side of things, that is not the case. If you have the ability to delete issues, I'm going to say your admin should not give you that ability. Or I should say, depending on the way your environment's set up, it might not be a good idea to have the delete issues permission. If you have the ability to delete an issue, it is gone. You are not getting it back. So just be careful about deleting issues. I personally like to remove that permission. I work in an environment where SOC 2 audits compliance is a mandate, and I know that the ability to delete issues is a big no-no for SOC 2 audit compliance. The main reason being that it gives the users the ability to hide information, and that's a bad thing, or at least it's the assumption of information that you don't want seen in an audit is being hidden by being deleted. So the recommendation in there is, even if you made a mistake, even if it's a duplicate, just close the issue, mark it as resolved, and mark it as a test issue that should be ignored or whatever. That way, people who come across it can ignore it, and when it shows up in an audit result, they will know based on the numbering that you haven't deleted an issue, but you have an issue that should be ignored because it's not a part of your actual work process.
Just keep that in mind. And if you're having trouble seeing things, have a look at this article on visibility and permissions, because 9 out of 10 times that's the problem. You could have a filter set up, you could have, board set to like only people on your team can see it, but the person you send it to is not on the team.
So that would be my other thing, just on sort of issue permissions. Admins, use your permission helper. So by that, I mean, if you let's go to a board that's not in the middle of something, pressing period will bring up the find actions for administration. There is a thing called permission helper. This is super helpful when a user says, I can't view X item. If you get the user and the issue, you can go to either browse projects, which is usually the just being able to view things. You can then also use things like create issues. Yes, you need an issue, but that then maps to the project that the issue is in. This is a really great way of being able to click that when you submit it. It will sort of give you a reason as to why they cannot do something. And then that gives you an idea of why they can't view the issue or something to that matter, just to help you understand a little bit more about whether they don't have a license for being able to view that issue, whether they are not in the project as either a person assigned to a project role that would give them permissions to it, or they're not a part of a permission scheme. Those are things that I would recommend. This is my admin tip on how to easily find out why users can't view issues. Is there anything more to this video?
Check that out. That's got some good debugging in there. So okay, I am gonna call it quits at this point. Thank you so much.
Okay, so that's all there is for that one. That's perfect. So there we go. There you have it. We have taken a look at the way things are done in Trello and shown you a few things about how you might accomplish the same sort of things, obviously not in the exact same way, within Jira. I hope you enjoyed watching me do something different this week, and if you'd like to see me do more videos like this, or you'd like to see me do a collaboration with Brittany in the future, please like the video and leave a comment as such, and I will reach out to her to see what we can do. Also, if you could please consider subscribing to my channel, that's just validation that the work I'm doing is something that people enjoy. As always, I release new videos on Tuesdays, so be sure to tune in next week for more great content. And thank you for stopping by.